What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about what's going on in the market right now, what's happening with the Aapl event, what's going on with the economic calendar, and what's going on in the pre-market with all these technicals for SPY, Tesla, QQQ, and many other tickers. Before I break anything down about all this information, and before I talk about what's going on right now, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I am not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Put in $100 and you're guaranteed up to 10 free stocks. Anyways, let's talk about the market now. What on earth is going on? Now, look at the market. SPY is chopping around back and forth in the pre-market. It's holding up quite all right for now, as it's hovering above the 427.5 support. But the problem is we have this crossover on the PPO, which is favoring the bears just a little bit more, and it is very close to overbought territory. Now, it does not mean that the market has to tank immediately. I mentioned to you guys yesterday that there are two main possibilities. Either we pump a little bit more, we see the market try to hold up for a bit before we start to pull back, or the market could pull back immediately. For now, with the Aapl event going on, the market's holding up nicely. We could see the market just hold up for a bit longer before it really starts to pull back for being quite overbought. But why am I saying that? Why can the market hold up just a little bit longer? Well, we have earnings coming out very soon. Nothing too massive today. We have like GitLab coming out later on. But we also have the Aapl event coming out, which is going to be likely or possibly their biggest launch in years to bring a potential new headsets and updates for every single product. Now, as a result, Aapl is pumping, getting very close to all-time highs. And because Apple's doing this, this is helping the market hold up for the time being. But be very careful during events like this. There is a saying known as buy the rumor, sell the news. And for now, it's pumping, approaching the big event. It is pumping, but the question is, will it continue to pump like that? It could hold up for some time, a little bit longer. It could even pump a bit more, but always be very careful looking at the technicals, which I will break down in just a few minutes. The PMI report's also coming out 15 minutes after open, so be careful with the services PMI. Expect more volatility at about 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Then at 10 o'clock a.m., the ISM services PMI is coming out. So expect lots of volatility for the first 15 and 30 minutes because of the data. And besides that, we're just getting ready to see how we open from here. Now, what is still a little bit concerning to me would be the fact that we're getting these oil cuts from OPEC Plus. That's very important right now. The market is not seeing a big reaction to it just yet. So be very, very careful and be very patient. If we get more news about this, so far it hasn't been in favor of the markets, but the market's not reacting too negatively just yet. So just be patient with that. Now let's talk about the charts very briefly. All right, so on SPY, once again, we have this negative cross on the PPO. We're a little bit overbought, but we could get one more attempt to make our way up to about this 429 to 430 level, and Aapl could help the market pump just a little bit more, but I'm not seeing this as being the much larger move because on the 1 hour time frame, like I said, we have this crossover on the PPO, and RSI is at 77.54. So I'm leaning in the direction of it possibly starting to downtrend because we are looking at these negative technicals on the larger time frames. There could be one more pump because of Aapl, right? If Aapl gets a big pump thanks to the new headset, this could help the market pump a little bit more, but I'm not counting on the market pumping like crazy from here, at least in my honest opinion. We look very, very overbought. And then if you look at the QQQ, it looks a lot weaker than SPY. So like I said before, I'd be very, very careful. If SPY breaks 428.74, it's likely going to make its way up to 430 if it breaks and holds the high we made from Friday. Now, if it fails to do so, let's just say that it just continues to chop around a bit, maybe gets a little bit of an attempt and it just fails. To be bearish, you have to watch for confirmation, okay? 427.5 needs to break, and I am predicting it's going to happen soon. Aapl may delay it a little bit, but it's likely still going to happen. We are looking a little bit weaker on the PPO for now, but I'm going to be very patient because of these big events and the PMI data. If 427.5 breaks, watch 426, 425, followed by the next major support is going to be closer to this like 423.93 if we do break below this zone. But remember to watch 427.5 as support. And if that fails for Aapl, then we're likely going to see more downside. For now, watch the chart though. Watch it very carefully. We could hold these levels a little bit longer thanks to Aapl. The event's going to happen at about, I think, like 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And then the market's going to make a big move later on. For Tesla, let me just remind you guys that Tesla is still trying to hold up and trying to pump. Tesla could get a break above this 217.83 area. It still is possible because on the 1 hour we're about to get this crossover. But if it gets to 220, just be very, very careful. Like I said, we're very close to overbought's territory. And also, there's a potential bearish divergence developing on the 1 hour time frame. Tesla needs to see the RSI pump a little bit more because if it rejects off 220 to 218, the RSI is looking like it's going to get a rejection soon. Okay, so it could pump a little bit more, but there might be a rejection coming. So be very careful with this. If Tesla manages to hold this 217.83 to 218 level, the major resistance, we could see Tesla make its way all the way up to 220, then potentially 220, 222.5. But like I said before, we got to be very, very careful. Okay, so it could pump a little bit more, but if this negative divergence is still present and it ends up rejecting, then it's not going to look the best. Let me also add that for the QQQ, it's a little bit red right now. It's getting weaker, and this may slow Tesla down a bit. There's this negative divergence that formed right here. And on top of that, there's a negative crossover on the PPO. And then we have this bigger and even larger bearish divergence. We need the QQQ to break 355.83 to potentially 356. It needs to break and hold that if we want to remain bullish. If it continues to do what it's doing, which is slowing down, if we get this break below 353, it's going to come all the way down to 350. And we're likely going to see this downwards pressure impact the whole market in the NASDAQ. If we're bullish, it has to break and hold 356. Okay, and we need some better looking technicals. If we're bearish, watch for a break below 353 and then potentially come down to like 50. So I'm watching all these levels carefully. This is going to affect the entire market. As far as Aapl goes, let me just note that Apple's pumping pretty hard right now. This is going to help the market hold up. There was a bearish divergence that's still present right now. There is technically one for now, but it's going to depend on how Apple moves for now. I mean, with the big event coming, it could, continue to pump. That could help the market hold up for just an extended period of time. But then, like I said before, Apple's also very close to being in overbought territory. So I would rather just be patient with it. You guys could scalp on the side watching these big events, but like I said before, we're very overextended. The market is due for a pullback soon. Yes, the market could pump a little bit more. It could try to hold up for an extended period of time, but I am going to be cautious. I am laying direction of a pullback coming soon still. Yes, we could pump a little bit more, but you have to watch for confirmation, watch the levels I told you guys earlier, and then get ready for that moving forward. All right, so thank you all so much for listening. Get ready for the pre-market, get ready for the Aapl event. It's going to be starting once again at about 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And besides that, the PMI data is coming out for the services sector 15 minutes after open and then 30 minutes after open, so expect lots of volatility. Watch the levels for confirmation of the moves to the downside. Don't just go low puts immediately or anything like that. Watch for SPY to break these levels. Watch for Tesla to break the levels I mentioned before you make any moves like that. And don't forget, we could hold up just a little bit longer before we start to see the downtrend. All right? So thank you for listening. Have a great day. Get ready for the pre-market, and I'll see you guys in the next one. The market to the moon is the long term is very bright, and peace out.